The last warning asterisk. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with soft light and quiet chatter. Aliens from 100 worlds floated or sat in their seats, talking politely and sipping special liquids. It was a peaceful day, or at least it looked that way from the outside, but behind the smiles, something was wrong. A human ambassador stood at the far end of the chamber, silent, still, and staring ahead. His name was Elias Grant, and he was known across the galaxy as Earth's most polite diplomat. He had never raised his voice in 10 years of council service. He always said please and thank you, even to those who insulted him. That day, something was different about him. The council was watching a live broadcast from a planet called Veltrax 9. It showed human aid workers helping rebuild a city that had been destroyed by a pirate attack. The footage was meant to prove that humans were peaceful and kind, but instead of praise, laughter filled the chamber. "This is why humans don't belong here," one lizard-like ambassador hissed. "They serve others like slaves," another alien laughed. "They bow and smile like weaklings." Still, Elias said nothing. Councillor Drecker, a tall insectoid, from the planet Thros, rose from his seat. "Let the humans clean up our messes. That is what they are good for," he said. "But they should not sit among warriors. They do not know war." That's when Elias slowly removed the silver pin from his jacket. The pin was the symbol of diplomacy. It meant he spoke with peace. He placed the pin gently on the table and looked up. The chamber fell silent. "My people believed in kindness," Elias said softly. "We thought peace was a strength, not a weakness." Councillor Drecker sneered. "Then you are fools." Elias nodded. "Maybe," he replied, "but every species has a last line. You just crossed ours." He reached into his jacket and pressed something on a small device. A soft beep echoed through the chamber. Seconds later, a new live broadcast appeared. In the center hologram, it was Earth's orbit. Everyone gasped. 12 massive ships, invisible just moments ago, uncloaked at once. They weren't cargo ships or science vessels. They were warships, silent and fully armed. "Orbiting Veltrax 9, this is not a threat," Elias said, still calm. "It's a reminder." Councillor Drecker shouted. "You dare show weapons at a peace meeting?" Elias turned his gaze toward Drecker. His voice didn't rise, but every word felt sharp. "You threatened our people. You mocked our help. You confused patience with fear." Another alien whispered. "Those ships, how did they get there so fast?" Elias finally smiled. "But it wasn't warm, it was cold and tired. They were always there," he said. "You just didn't see them, because we didn't want you to." The silence in the chamber grew heavier. "Earth didn't come here because we couldn't fight," Elias said. "We came because we wanted something better." He stood tall and finished with 6 words that froze the room. "This is the last time I smile." The transmission ended. The council screen returned to static, but no one moved. No one laughed again, and every member of the council realized the truth: humanity had been polite. Yes, but only because they had chosen to be. Now, that choice was gone. When politeness fades for hours, the Galactic Council chamber stayed quiet. The ambassadors from many worlds sat frozen, their eyes still locked on the empty space where the human hologram had disappeared. No one expected Elias Grant to say what he said, and no one expected Earth to have warships ready, cloaked, and aimed. Councillor Drecker, the insectoid leader who had insulted humanity, now sat pale and silent. His wings twitched nervously. He had called humans weak. He had called them fools. Now, he was afraid. An alarm suddenly flashed across the room. It wasn't an attack but something worse. The defense network of 3 major council worlds had gone dark. All at once, Councillor Zelari, a plant-based creature with glowing vines, gasped. "Our orbital satellites, they're not responding." Another councillor whispered. "The humans didn't fire, but they're watching everything." On Veltrax 9, the aid workers were pulled back into human ships. No words, no panic, just perfect order. A message was sent across all frequencies. "Earth is exiting courtesy mode." The words were simple, but they struck harder than any weapon. Everyone knew what it meant. Humanity had always followed a rule of respect. They gave mercy, second chances, peace talks, and even rebuilt cities of enemies. But now, that rule was gone. Some council members tried to talk. "Surely this is a misunderstanding," one said. "The humans wouldn't really attack, would they?" Another replied, "You mocked their kindness for years. What do you think happens now?" Back on Earth, President Kira Sato stood in front of a council of human generals. They didn't cheer, they didn't smile, they simply watched the signals coming in. "We're not at war," she said. "But we are done pretending to be soft. At that moment, all across the galaxy, humans were moving quietly. Their warships didn't fire, but they repositioned themselves at key points. Trade routes, power stations, and council military docks. Earth now stood in every blind spot. Back in the Galactic Chamber, a nervous alien translator trembled. Why? Why are they doing this? A retired elder from the frog-like Grolan species sighed. Because we made the mistake. He looked around and said slowly, they warned us. For years, they helped us. They forgave us. The others stared at him, and we laughed at them for it. He said, but humans only stay polite. Until they don't. Counselor Drecker tried to regain control. We must respond. Send ships. Show force. But before he could give an order, the chamber darkened again. A single symbol appeared in the Earth's seal, now red, pulsing. Slowly, behind it, hundreds of small points lit up each, one a human-controlled zone. They had not taken anything, they had only moved closer. The message came again. You triggered Protocol 9, Courtesy Mode, OFF, and that was it. No speeches, no demands, just silence and a red seal that hovered over the most powerful room in the galaxy. Everyone in the chamber now understood. Earth had never been weak, they had been holding back. Now, the leash was off. You wanted the real us. The Galactic Council sent message after message to Earth. Some begged for calm. Others warned of consequences, but no reply came. The red seal with the words, Courtesy Mode, OFF, hovered over the council chamber like a silent ghost. It didn't blink, it didn't fade, it just waited. Finally, a response arrived, but not from a diplomat, not from Elias Grant. A new figure appeared in the hologram. He wore black armor with a red line across his chest. His face was human, but his eyes were cold and empty. He wasn't here to talk. He was here to finish what had already begun. I am Commander Arden of Earth's Unified War Command, he said. I do not speak for peace, I speak for control. Some counselors flinched at his words, others looked furious. Counselor Zelari stepped forward. We demand to know why Earth is acting like an empire. Arden didn't blink, because you asked us to. He said, when you laughed at our kindness, when you insulted our help, when you called us weak. Counselor Drecker, still proud, despite the fear in his wings, shouted, you cannot rule us with fear. Arden tilted his head. We don't want to rule you, he said. We just want to stop asking for basic respect. The chamber fell quiet. We came to this council in peace, Arden said. And you saw us as soft. We gave aid, he continued. You called it begging. We gave time, he said. You called it weakness. He stepped closer to the hologram's edge, and the shadows from his armor stretched across the room. Now you will see what we were hiding all this time. A new hologram lit up behind him, maps of council planets, marked with human fleets already in position, not firing, not invading, just watching. You wanted to know the real us, Arden said. This is the real us. He didn't shout, his voice was calm, but it shook the chamber harder than any weapon ever could. We're not monsters, he said. We just got tired of being ignored. The council couldn't move, couldn't speak. Then Arden said something no one expected. This is not a war, he said. It's a mirror. You looked at us and saw weakness, he added. But what you really saw was mercy. He paused, letting that truth land across the galaxy. Now, he said, you will treat us with the respect we gave you freely. If you do, he continued, our ships will leave, our smiles will return, but only if they are earned. And just like that, the transmission ended. No threats, no countdowns, just choice. Over the next hours, the council planets received coded instructions from Earth, not orders, not demands, just agreements. Firm and clear, Earth would return to the table, but only as equals. On the walls of the council chamber, the red seal faded at last, and in its place, a new one appeared, gold and blue. The human seal but changed. Its symbol was no longer a handshake, it was an open eye. Below it, a single line was written in every known language. Respect is no longer requested, it's expected. And from that day forward, no one in the galaxy ever laughed at Earth's politeness again. Because now, they knew what came after it.